it's Hunter and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, it's so nice to meet you. In today's video, my baby is napping, but if I put her down, she's going to cry. So this is Poppy. Poppy and I are going to be talking about all of the books that I've read over the last couple of months. I usually do a monthly recap, wrap-up kind of thing for books, but I have not done that in the last couple of months because my baby was born, so I haven't really gotten a chance to make these videos. So I thought I'd sit down now and kind of give you guys a recap of the books I've read, I think since March, because I was pretty miserable at the end of March. She was born at the beginning of April. I was pretty miserable at the end of March, so I have not kind of talked about my books recently. So also I've definitely slowed down a lot in the reading department just because when I have an opportunity to sit down and read, I sleep instead. So that's kind of what we're going with here. So if you guys are new here, it's so nice to meet you. Welcome to my channel, and be sure to subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already. I have kind of changed up my content a little bit. I still want to post about books and about Kindle content and things like that, but I've introduced some motherhood content, some baby stuff, just because that's what's happening in my life right now, but I still also post vlogs and stuff. But if you're just wanting to get to the books, let's just go ahead and do that. So let's get started. So I wrote down everything on my Kindle because there's a lot of books on here. I mean, it's not like the biggest number of books, but it's still a lot, so I wanted to have my thoughts a little bit more organized. So let's get started with the first book. First book is called Queen Bee by Amelie Howard, and I gave this book 5 stars. Also, I'm reading my notes off my iPad, so that's why I'm looking over here. This takes place in Regency era England, and funnily enough, one of the characters' name is Poppy. Poppy betrays her best friend because they both like the same boy, so Lady Ella plots revenge against her to win the boy back. And I thought this was cute. It felt very much like women empowerment and put a lot of emphasis on female friendships and the importance of that, despite the synopsis. So I thought it was really cute. The next book is Under Her Care by Lucinda Berry. I gave this one 5 stars. The mayor's wife ends up murdered, and Mason Hill, the autistic son of former pageant queen, is the main suspect. A psychiatrist is brought in to evaluate Mason, and his mom will do whatever it takes to protect him. Lucinda Berry always does the best psychological thrillers, in my opinion, and this one kept me on my toes the whole time. That's really all I can give you for a description just because I read it so long ago. Next is Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson, and I gave this one 5 stars. I specifically remember reading this one in the waiting room of my OB office because someone asked me what I was reading because they saw my Kindle, and I told them and they were like, what? So Phoebe is a PhD candidate, and she's writing her dissertation about the relationship between serial killers and the writers of the true crime stories written about them. So she moves into her deceased father's house and thinks her new neighbor is she thinks her new neighbor is a serial killer. So I thought this was a fun take on a popular topic right now, true crime in combination with romance. It was funny and cute, and I appreciated the romance elements without it being too heavily a romance. Next is another Lucinda Berry book, and I gave this one 4 stars. It's called Missing Parts. It's about Celeste, who has a fulfilling career, a great husband, and a 4-year-old, but when her daughter gets sick, her secrets threaten to come out. I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember anything about this book. I read a little more than a week before I gave birth, so I was pretty miserable basically during that time. So I remember giving it 4 stars, but I don't remember much else about the story. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I moved her, she got a whiff of cold air. Next is Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score, and I gave this one 5 stars. I actually read this one while I was in labor, so that's fun. Number 2, this is book number 2 of the Knock 'Em Out series, and it is about Lena, who's back in town for work undercover, trying to recover stolen goods when she runs into Nash Morgan. Nash has been through previous trauma and won't let anyone see his weaknesses, but he and Lena can't seem to stay away from each other. I'm so sorry, I keep yawning. What? She's holding on to my hair. I really loved this. I'm not normally into books that are super spicy, but Lucy Score is definitely an exception for me. It took a minute for me to remember what happened in the first book, but I really liked the thrill element that was in it. The next book is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. No, hold on, scratch that. The next book was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and I actually read a lot of her books in the last couple of months. I gave this one 5 stars. Nina hires a new live-in housemaid and is absolutely horrible to her. Nina and her husband seem to have the perfect life, but things are not always as they seem. This was a simple read, but it was such a quick read. I couldn't put it down, and I didn't know what was gonna happen at any point. It was truly shocking from beginning to end. Like, this was a really good thriller because I did not predict anything. I had no idea what was gonna come next. So like, that's why I say it was genuinely just like a really good thriller. The next book I read was The Housemaid's Secret, also by Frida McFadden, and this one has 5 stars as well. It is the sequel to The Housemaid. She gets, so I cannot remember the housemaid's name for my life, but she gets a new job as a maid with a wealthy man in Manhattan, and he says his wife is sick and will not let the maid talk to her. I thought I knew where this was going the whole time, but I was completely shocked by everything. Queen of a psychological thriller that's a simple read and impossible to put down. Next is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I was absolutely refusing to buy this book because it came out in hardback. I'm waiting for a paperback. I'm really hoping it will be republished in paperback at some point, but I had a bunch of Kindle credits, so I ended up paying like $2.99 for it or something. I gave this 5 stars. It's about Harriet and Wynne. They have broken off their engagement, but their friends don't know, and they invite them to the lake for their wedding, so they have to pretend to still be together to make the lake house be everyone's happy place for the last time before it is sold. I thought this book was so cute, and I love pretend dating tropes. This is also a book about friendship, growing up, and accepting change, which is something that I feel I relate to a lot as it relates to college people moving away and things that will never be the way they once were, even if the changes are good ones. I just feel like I really related to, that was kind of why I really liked that one. So next is finally, because I already said this one, Never Lie by Frida McFadden, and I gave this one 4 stars. Trisha and Ethan are going to look at a house in a remote area when they get caught in a snowstorm. They end up finding a key to the house to shelter for the night, and they discover the house used to belong to a therapist who disappeared 3 years ago without a trace. I can't remember why I only gave this 5 stars, but nothing is ever as expected. I really thought I knew what was gonna happen. I really did. I predicted it out loud, but I was so wrong. I found myself shocked several times. Like always, couldn't put it down, and a very quick and easy read. She's not letting me move her. Okay. Next is Gone Again by Minka Kent, and I gave this one 4 stars. Celia Guest celebrates her 40th birthday and gets a note that tells her she doesn't deserve any of this, and she takes off before her secrets can catch up with her. My note on this is literally, I have no idea why I gave this 4 stars because I don't remember anything about this book except for the party part, except for the 40th birthday part. So that's fun. The next one is The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I gave this one 4 stars. Brooke is the newest nurse practitioner at a maximum security prison. She is not supposed to reveal too much about herself or get too close with any of the prisoners, but her high school sweetheart is in there, and she begins to question what happened the night he got arrested. Always getting the whiplash with this author. Only gave 4 stars because Brooke felt very naive, kind of like stupid, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't say she was stupid, but she just felt like she was way too trusting for someone who had a past as she did, but that was pretty much it. I just didn't really like the main character, but I thought that the twists were really good. The next book was The Dilemma by B.A. Paris, and I gave this one 5 stars. We have Livia, who is having a 40th birthday party of her dreams. Livia is having the 40th birthday party of her dreams, but both Livia and her husband Adam are hiding heartbreaking news from each other, and they both try to get through the party while protecting the other from what they know. This was absolutely heartbreaking, and I couldn't stop reading it. The anticipation of both secrets and learning the truth had me not wanting to put the book down because I just needed to know what was happening. The next book is actually one that Mason picked up for me, Target, for Mother's Day as a gift, and it's That Summer by Jennifer Weiner, and I gave this one 5 stars. We have Diana and Daisy, who are opposites. Somehow Daisy keeps getting Diana's emails, and Diana's life seems glamorous by comparison. Female empowerment. This was so good. My husband picked it out, and it shows that people are not always what they seem, and that female friendships are. That's all I wrote about it. Next is Signal Moon by Kate Quinn, and this one was 4 stars. It is a short story that's available on Kindle Unlimited, and it's about a connection between centuries over a radio signal between 1943 and 2023. This was a really cool concept and very different for me. I was a little confused by some terminology in the beginning, so that's why I only gave it 4 stars. Next is Golden Hills by Jennifer Weiner, and I also gave this one 4 stars. This is a short story on Kindle Unlimited as well. We have Ida Berkowitz is running for Senate when someone from the past comes out of the woodwork. I really liked the story, but it was a very quick read, but it was honestly very anticlimactic. Like, the secret from the past wasn't that juicy, to be honest. So Next is A Bad Girl Reputation by Elle Kennedy, and I gave this one 5 stars. We have Genevieve, who returns to Avalon Bay after her mom died to work with her dad when she reconnects with her bad boy ex Evan. They do everything they can to try to stay away from each other because they know they're not good for each other. I thought this was really cute. I liked that Jen and Evan had a history, that had a chemistry that was undeniable, and I really loved that they wanted to work on bettering themselves for no reasons relating to the other person. I thought it was spicy, but it wasn't too spicy, especially compared to other Elle Kennedy books. Other Elle Kennedy books I've picked up I couldn't finish because they were way too spicy, and the first book that I ever read by Elle Kennedy was Good Girl Complex, which is the first book in the Avalon Bay series, and if I hadn't read that before I read another Elle Kennedy book, then I probably would not have ever picked up another Elle Kennedy, just because they are so much spicier than what I prefer. In fact, I do not like it to be that spicy. I know other people do, but not my jam. It was too much, like I didn't even finish it. But I really did enjoy this one. Next is another short story from Kindle Unlimited, and it's called A Show of Faith by Greer Hendricks, and I gave this one 4 stars as well. The short stories just were not hitting it for me. This is about Blair. She lives basically the same thing every single day, and then one day she finds Maya's wallet and she tries to get it back to her, and she reminds her of someone from her past. And I thought this was rather suspenseful, but it ended very abruptly. I know it's a short story, but I honestly felt like it had no conclusion. It just ended. I was like, where's the rest of it? You know? So, and the last book that I read, this is basically March through June. So the last book that I read was The Wife Upstairs, also by Frida McFadden, and I gave this one 3 stars, which was my lowest rating of all of her books, but out of all of these books from the past couple of months. We have Victoria, who has the perfect life until she falls down the stairs and basically becomes a vegetable. She is completely unable to take care of herself. She can hardly eat. She takes a bunch of medication a day. She can't really walk or talk. She can't take care of herself. So her husband hires Sylvia to help take care of her during the day. But as Sylvia takes care of her, she begins to wonder just how impaired Victoria is, because she's seeing a little more life in her than she originally suspected that she had. And so my thoughts on this one. The reason why I gave it 3 stars. I thought this was a decent story. It was easy read and it was fast paced, but it felt way too familiar and predictable. I think if I'd read this before other more similar books, I would have enjoyed it more, and maybe I wouldn't have been able to predict the ending so easily. I didn't predict like the exact ending, but like the concept of the ending, I basically felt like I could see the ending coming. So yeah, it was a super predictable book, which I hate to say because I really love the rest of this author's books, but that one just wasn't it for me because it felt too familiar. So anyway, that is all I have for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I am not sure how often I'll be able to do book wrap-ups just because I am a little busy and tired, but I have enjoyed most of these books and I've been trying to read as much as I can. I don't think I'm going to reach my goal of 100 books this year, but that's okay because I have something more valuable than books. But anyway, that's all I have, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!